Yo, what's up, man? I am back, Kanan Powers. I just had to do another episode for y'all real quick. Had to drop something out there. We're gonna start with the obvious. It's February, which means that is Black History Month. I'm gonna read something that I got off of blackhistorymonth.gov. Alright. As a Harvard trained historian, Carter G. Woodson, like W.E.B. Du Bois before him, believed that truth could not be denied and that reason would prevail over prejudice. That is some good old Negro talk right there, boy. Reason would prevail over prejudice. That sounds so inspiring, doesn't it? But I ask you this, what's gonna prevail over them hollow tip bullets that the police keep shooting at niggas? How about that? Yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. Black History Month. I'm gonna tell you why Black History Month is a joke today, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Don't nobody gotta get bent all out of shape and try to cancel me or fire me like they did Whoopi Goldberg on The View. So the reason why I say this, I'm gonna give you three quick reasons. Reason number one, Black History Month is a joke, in my opinion, because you don't even have to tell the truth about Black history. You don't even got to tell the truth. You can make up your own history. You can say, hey, Black people started out as slaves, or Black people come from here, come from there, or this is the person that you should look at. It's not even up to us to pick who we acknowledge during Black History Month. Black people don't even pick those people. And it's so limited to the character of the individuals that you learn about. So if a person isn't picture perfect, then you teach about them and people bring up all their negative past, all their negative history, instead of focusing on why you even teaching about this person during Black History Month, because it's about the accomplishments of Black people, not the imperfections of Black people. But when you bring it up in this month, if people don't feel that that person is perfect, they'll even say that you shouldn't teach about them during Black History Month. So that's one reason why I say at this point, Black History Month is definitely nothing more than a joke. Reason number two, it's an insult. It's an insult to say that all the contributions of African American people or Black people can be summed up into 1 month, because that's how insignificant the overall contribution of Black people really had on this planet, right? So you got to think about that 1 month. 28 days. That's all it takes to tell everybody about the significance or insignificance of Black people. That's how quick, that's how much it is. And then you can go on about the rest of your life, the rest of your day, rest of your year, because we've already learned all we need to know about the Negroes, right? That's the second reason. Third reason is that it's very inconsistent. So, according to American history, the majority of Black people in America, in North America, come from West Africa. Okay, we came here during the slave trade, right? We went to South Africa, or we went to South America and was transported to North America. You know the story, right? So, wouldn't that mean that Black History Month would actually be like West African History Month? We don't even intertwine those two things, right? We are so specific in teaching about Martin Luther King and the man who invented peanut butter and the man who made an air conditioner and Rosa Parks or whatever. So you get these watered down stories about Black people, just repeated to you every year, because these are the people that they feel like you should learn about. And then years later, they come back and tell you that these people wasn't so great anyway. So yeah, in my opinion, Black History Month is definitely a joke at this point, because Black people are not even in charge of the narrative of Black History Month. Ain't that something? So that's basically that. That's just my opinion about Black History Month being a joke. Now let's look at some other things. I mentioned Whoopi Goldberg, right? She didn't get fired, but she did get suspended, apparently, for making comments on The View during Black History Month. So, even though Black people have these freedoms, we got these civil rights, why is it that during this month you get stories like this to show you that you really have not made any progress. She made a comment about the Holocaust not being about race because it was white on white violence, basically. So she said the Germans was not killing the Jewish people because they were Jewish or because they were white, because they were all white. That was her point. Whether you agree with it or not, she's on a platform called The View. Okay, this is an opinionated platform where people get to express their views on things, and you suspend her for that, even though she didn't use no derogatory language, she didn't use no offensive terms. She just simply said, in her opinion, it was not about race, it was about a crime of humanity, crime of people hurting other people. And to me, it's no different from how people talk about black on black violence. They usually don't talk about it from a racial perspective because the violence is black people killing other black people. So it's not like it's a point of view that hasn't been utilized in other scenarios, and people don't generally get suspended for making those comments. But of course, black people, they want black people to walk on eggshells when it comes to talking about how they really feel about things, because everybody has their eye on black people. They want to humiliate the black people. They want to tell black people that they should think a certain way. And whenever we do think outside of their box, they have a problem with us. So again, I don't think that's a coincidence that that would even happen during Black History Month. Just to show you, like, don't get too comfortable. So they give you one thing, but then they really take away a lot more. If you really look at both sides of the American system and how they treat black people. So again, if we're going to be honest about it, we have to start accepting that black opinions generally are not accepted. So this is what people do. If a black person is not in agreement with, you know, the liberation, or not even the liberation, really it's about the acceptance. I'll say, if black people are not cool with the acceptance of another group of people in any way, shape, or form, the main thing people want to say is, how could you say that and you're black, right? So the reason why that makes no sense is because just because you're black does not mean that you agree with one type of way of thinking. There may be black people who have no problem with segregation, or there might be black people who feel like integration was the way to go. There are black people who never been enslaved, so you can't even say that they fought for freedom because they might have owned slaves themselves. There's so many different types of black people. You can never put black people in a box and say we should all think one way, because again, if you're not learning the truth about black history, then you're not in a position to really tell black people how to think, because you don't really know who we are, where we come from. You just have a scenario or a narrative that was given to you by somebody else, but black people actually have lived through the experience of being black. So you can never tell us what we should think and what is the same and what is similar, because we can apply that ourselves. And in most cases, none of it is really similar to what black people go through. So a lot of people's oppression is significant. However, the time frame in which black people were oppressed in this nation is uncomparable. You can't compare it to nothing else because it's never happened. So as much as people say that, oh, everybody was a slave and this and that, then how come they didn't put that in the writing when they were making the black codes and everything? I didn't hear about them making these codes apply to everybody. These people wasn't getting lynched in the numbers that black people were getting lynched in. And when they wrote the Constitution, they didn't put the language to imply that this applied to all people. They always would say Negro. Okay, so if this was more than just black people, how come the language wouldn't say we're here to liberate the Hispanic, the Negroes, the people of color, the LGBT? They didn't put all those things in there because those were not the people that was highly impacted by those injustices. And that is written. That's written history. That's not just opinionated history. You could look at the laws yourself. So when people try to compare to what black people go through. They always fall short in those areas because at the end of the day, those crimes were racially based. They were specifically based on the fact that if you were black, you could not do certain things and you were subjected to a certain type of treatment that was considered okay and justifiable and legal if it happened to you, but not if it happened to everybody else. And here's another point in that. They say that black people owned slaves and that there was such thing as freed black men, right? Or black people. But this is a point that people tend to overlook. Black people never owned white slaves. So that means that there was truly no freedom and no equality in even the type of people you can own as slaves. So again, it was racially driven, specifically because of the race of people. And it was done so by people, a group of people that was outside of that race. So that's really all I'm gonna get into right now. Like I said, this is just a quick little episode. I just wanted to throw something out there. It is Black History Month, so I figured I'd touch on that. But I'm gonna really dig deep on everything that's been going on within the past couple months, basically since 2022 hit. I'm gonna go over everything that's been significant. We're gonna talk about it, get in depth. You know how we do. So like, subscribe, share, and thanks for listening.